this is easy for Zuby in one way. I mean,
Yeah.
who's going to argue with you?
I have black privilege.
Well, I was going to mention that as well. But for a start, no one's going to take you on. You've used that strength to some interesting experiments, I think, in social theory, if I can put it that way. For a second, you're infectious, but then you're black. Who can argue with those? But good on you for being positive. Tell me about, I think you've used your sheer physical strength in an interesting way to prove a point. Can we explore that for a moment?
I assume you're alluding to me breaking the British women's deadlift record.
Yeah, just say that slowly so the listeners can really get it. In case they haven't heard it. You
broke the British women's deadlift record after temporarily identifying as a woman.
Tell us more.
Yeah, okay, so I'd seen this issue popping up from around, I want to say about 2015 or 2016, this whole issue of biological males identifying as women and competing in female sports at the professional level, high school level, college level. I was especially seeing it happening in the USA, I think a little bit in Canada as well. And it was inevitable and obvious to me that this is something that's going to come to a head. Again, when certain ideas are being pushed and you can see a little bit down the line, second, third, fourth order thinking and think, okay, well, where does that lead? And so in February 2019, after in one day seeing multiple stories about this actually happening, there were 2 high school incidents that had happened actually that were out in the news that day about males competing against females in sport and thrashing them, I think breaking records in this case. This was happening at the high school level in the USA. And out of curiosity, I was just like, man, I wonder what the British women's deadlift record is. Because I'm a strong guy. I was like, it's probably lower than my max. So I did a quick Google search, and I think it was 210 or 215 kilos in my weight class, and my max was 275. And I just had this video on my phone. Some people think I actually entered a competition. I didn't enter a competition, but I just had this video on my phone from one of my training sessions of me doing a 230 kilogram deadlift with ease. And so I just posted it on Twitter. I had about 18,000 followers on the platform at the time. And I just said, I keep hearing about how biological men have no strength advantage over women in 2019. So watch me destroy the British women's deadlift record without trying. P.S. I identified as a woman whilst lifting the weight. Don't be a bigot. I just put that out there thinking, I tweeted it like I tweet. I've got over 100,000 tweets. I wasn't there thinking, okay, this is my strategy to reach millions of people. And it went crazy. It just went insane. Within about 10 minutes, I think the video had 10,000 views. It hit 100,000 within a matter of hours. I went to bed that night, 300,000, wake up in the morning, 500,000, 1 million, 2 million. It went bonkers. It went insane. And within 48 hours, I was getting contacted by various media channels, the Sunday Telegraph, BBC, Sky News, Fox News in the USA. I was just getting all these people reaching out to me saying, we want to talk to you about what you've just done, and we want to talk about this issue and so on. And I think the timing of it, plus the video, plus the humor, just really, plus the fact that it was one of these landmine issues, it just caused this to explode.
I am amazed at how the elites continue to push this particular issue. And if you say the wrong thing on it, you trip over minefields, you get blown up like you wouldn't believe. But I know from the research out there in Voterland, if I can put it that way, as a former, someone involved in politics, they think this is nuts. They think it's nuts.
Yes.
Is it overreach? Will it start to
It's
produce a serious reaction? You know, come on, let's find some sensible ground again. Or do the elites have such control now they're just going to continue to ram it forward?
It's already happening. It's already happening. I mean, it's been interesting because, again, that was February 2019 when I posted that. And when I posted that, the issue was not being discussed in the way that it is now.
I think people were genuinely shocked.
People were...
Sort of, what do we do with this?
Yeah, firstly, it wasn't on a lot of people's radar. I think a lot of people didn't realize how far that push and insanity had gone and was going. I think now that people are seeing what's happening with children, in particular, with the ideology being pushed onto them, as well as with this particular issue, if you're talking about the drugs and you're trying to doing surgeries, let's be real, they are performing double mastectomies, on children, underage girls. They're giving hormone blockers and cross-sex hormones to minors. There are cases where they are chemically or literally castrating young boys, all under the name of everything they call gender-affirming care.
Affirmative care.
That's what it is. That's the euphemism, gender-affirming care, care for medical care for trans youth, and so on. That's what they call it. But that's what they're doing.
And we know that most of them will sort those issues out as puberty progresses and they come out the other end.
Yes, absolutely. So when it comes to this issue, I think most people view it from a sort of adult libertarian lens of, okay, whether or not I understand or agree with this, if we live in a free society and you're an adult and you want to take hormones or have a surgery or do this or do that, generally speaking, okay, I might not like it, I might not agree with it, I might not understand it, but that's your life to live. But I think when you cross the line with children and what's being pushed in schools, what's happening in the medical world and so on, and when people become awake to that and see, oh wow, okay, this is wrong, this is crazy, this is where we're experimenting on a generation of young people, and it's people's own kids, then I think that's when you start getting the pushback. The sports issue is a big one, of course. I don't think it's insane in itself, but I think the one with children is more insane and more immoral. But women are being pushed out of their own spaces, out of their own sports, and it's not sustainable. You're going to have pushback from conservatives, from feminists, from sane liberals, from centrists, anyone who's just got some degree of courage and who isn't completely ideologically captured by these ideas. People are going to increasingly push back. And so I do see that pendulum going the other way, because it's all masked in this idea of compassion. Right, that's how it's always masked. It's masked in safety language.
If we use the long language, the children will take their own lives. There's no evidence to back that up at all, but that doesn't seem to matter in this age.
No, because they don't care about truth. But I think ultimately, one thing that always gives me hope and keeps me optimistic is I think in the long run, in the long term, I think truth always wins. If you just take the sports issue, okay? If you allow the concept that anyone who identifies as a woman is a woman. And if you ask the people who are either cowards or ideologically captured what a woman is, they will say a woman is anyone who identifies as a woman. They all have the same answer all across the Western world, somehow, magically. So it's like, okay, I mean, that's what I did in 2019. I said, okay, cool, I'm a woman. Boom, British women's deadlift record holder. Oh, you know what, I'll take the bench press record too while I'm here, right? And it's like, okay, well, by your own logic, I'm the strongest woman in Britain now. And so either you have to accept me as that, or you have to go, well, okay, maybe you're not really a woman. And some people be like, oh, well, you didn't suppress your hormones. Even if I'd suppressed my hormones, you don't magically turn into a woman. If Anthony Joshua, the boxer, if LeBron James goes on, starts taking estrogen and suppressing his testosterone for a year or two, you think he's suddenly gonna be on an equal footing? It's completely insane. It's preposterous.
The muscle bulk's already there. It's there.
It's laughable. They're putting males in female prisons.
Yeah, well, that is really...
Women are getting pregnant in prison all of a sudden, and they're like, how is this happening?
Yeah.
I mean, is that sustainable? It's you can't hide from the truth in such a ridiculous fashion. At some point, the rubber meets the road. The chickens come home to roost, and people stand up and push back. And the thing that's taking long is just the fact that people lack courage. That's all it is.